Good day. Yesterday, Mrs. L and I did something which I have not done in quite a long time. And that's go to a movie, an actual movie, a film, to go to a film house, to go and see something at a cinema. And it's so interesting if you've not done this. I'm thinking to myself, I don't know how much longer this is going to be. I'm very surprised that on the day on New Year's, there were so few people. It was amazing how many things were closed. This is New York. It's very interesting. But we went there. It was a very nice day. And we went, and lo and behold, we sat in, and people now can, of course, pick their seats, which is wonderful. You can, I guess. And invariably, where I sit is where all of the nuts sit. If there is somebody who is a problem, somebody who is, problematic, they will sit near me, invariably. And in front of us was a woman, very large. I was just looking at her. This was a very, very large woman, very tall, very large. She was in her 200s, easy. And she sat, and when she sat back, she plopped back, and so help me God, these moving seats, these seats that move back and forth, it just took my entire room up, as it were. And it was a movie called Babylon. And it's one of those movies that did more to make us, I don't know about you, but Mrs. L and I were just dissecting it. Like, what does this mean? What does this tell us? Where are we going? Who are the actors? Who is not? Who are the people? Who are the people involved in this? What is going on? Why is this interesting? Who are these folks? Who are these individuals? And what are they? Tobey Maguire, absolutely hideous as an actor. Margot Robbie, very good. Brad Pitt, the most monumentally unimportant actor anybody has ever seen. Did a parody, dare I say, of himself. Incredible. Flea had a nice Eric Roberts, a role that was unnecessary, inconsequential. Diego Calva, the heartthrob, invariably the latest iteration of the Spanish, Banderas or whatever. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Then Margot Robbie, very good in terms of her ability to move and what have you. Jean Smart, okay, so. We can go through the whole, I'm not going to go through this, but it was about, more importantly, the disgusting excesses of what was Hollywood then, and why Hollywood was debauched, and why it was a system of lunacy and disgusting, vile, and how it was Hearst, a reference to Hearst. And the most important part was how it was depravity. And that's where Hollywood and entertainment has always been. And it reminded me, and it was a reference to Fatty Arbuckle. And that, and it was so interesting. And then what was also interesting, you have to go and you have to realize, I don't know who this forgive me for not knowing this actor, this director. This is, Decadence, Depravity, and Outrageous Success. This is Damien Chazelle. Okay. And when you watch this, if you find yourself there, you have to notice how not only is the storyline interesting, because they were making some references which I thought were kind of interesting, but then the gratuitous reference by an absolutely juvenescent, unartistic, inartistic person who had the, dare I say, the sexual symbology sophistication of a child, focusing on things just for the purpose of their grossness, and listening to the audience laughing nervously, confusedly, and it was so interesting. Now, none of my reactions did anybody ever intend to be true. None of them. Nothing that I'm saying, nothing that I took from this, believe me, was what any of these folks ever intended anybody to do. But it was perfect. It said exactly what the truth was. And it goes to show you, if I could be in a room with you, if we could watch this as a class and let me stop and say, now, let's go through this, but look at it this way. Don't look at it like they do, like the audience. They're missing the point. Look at it the way I'm looking at this. Look at it the way I see it, the way I recognize it. Look at it. Look at what's happening. Look. Pay attention. I would have loved to do this because to me it was glaring. It was absolutely glaring. And by the way, this particular type of lesson plan is what I'm going to be doing on the 14th of January at the cutting room. Doing this, taking something and saying, no, that's not the way we're looking at it. That's not the way we're looking at it. No. Look at it this way. Look at it this way. Here, put on these glasses. Remember when you go to the doctor's office and sometimes in the old days they would say, is it better like this or like this? Ooh, like that. I see. Is it better like this or like that? What's the smallest line you can read? That sort of thing. Because you are still not being given anything even remotely akin to what reality is. They're not telling you. They're not explaining it to you. They're just showing you this, and they're just repeating each other. So I want you to make it a point. There's the link right there. January 14th. Be there. We will have the time. You will walk out of that venue and you'll say, I understand. You'll never think the same again. I mean this. I mean it. Because unlocked in you, or locked in you, I should say, is something that needs to be unlocked, namely your ability to see what's going on. Let me give you another example. And forgive me for going back to certain things. You know these Idaho murders? Okay. I don't even know where to start. Everybody thinks they're into true crime. Everybody says, I like true crime. Really? Oh, yes, I listened to this podcast. And it's normally two children. There's one I heard on, I forget what it was. I think it was an iHeart platform I listened to. And it sounded like two little girls saying, and it was like, but wait a minute, hold it. This is murder? Are you grasping really what this is? Not a clue. Not a clue. Okay? Not a clue. So immediately, I'm not going to mention to you who, but let me tell you what's going to be happening regarding the Idaho murders. And let me tell you what's going to be happening on cable news. And let me tell you how cable news will constipate your brain. Cable news is like cheese. Cable news is a binder. Cable news kills the way you think. Cable news, okay, you got it? Cable news kills the way you think. Cable news destroys free speech and free thought. It doesn't. It's cable news kills you. So here's what they will do. And this is probably the production meeting. Okay, let's go through our figurative Rolodex, and let's have on somebody who was either a cop, a former prosecutor, a criminal defense lawyer, and there is one, and I'm not going to mention names, who is barely articulable. The worst. I don't understand it. And they will tell you nothing because we don't know anything. And then you'll have profilers on who will tell you nothing. Nothing. They don't know anything. But here's their goal, and this is important. This is kind of in line of what yesterday was, because in this movie Babylon, it was show them something that looks like a movie. Show them something that appears to be interesting. Show them something that, gives the impression like, oh, this is artistic. Oh, look at this. Look at this lighting. When in fact it's not. But here's the angle. The real issue, and what everybody should be talking about, is first, why aren't there more murders? Why aren't there more? It's still a rarity. You ever think about that? We are the most depraved people there are. I can point to fentanyl deaths, child predation, whatever, but murders, they might be going up, but they're still relatively rare. And serial murder, this isn't really serial murder. This is not a serial killer. This is a maybe mass murder. And not even that. It's just a spree, opportunistic, whatever it is. It's not, he's not going across the country, whoever this murderer is. It's just, it's not even, if you want to call it that. It's interesting, sort of. But now you're letting everybody come forward. And you're saying, tell me something about this suspect. He was the most brilliant person versus the typical quiet, kept to himself. But here is the thing which is the most important. And this is the issue that, and by the way, we heard one expert, again, I'm not going to mention the name, one expert say, well, we really don't know anything yet. And we've got to wait for the DNA. And, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Got to wait for the DNA. Okay. Didn't think about that. Didn't think about that at all. But in any event, where was it? Where was this? Hang on a minute. Oh, here we go. Forensic genealogists use genetic information to match individuals to DNA samples. This means utilizing open source databases, for example, GEDmatch. And I can assure you that 97% of the American public does not understand what this means or the privacy implications. So understand what this is. Let me ask you, how many of you fine folks, be honest with me, answer my question. How many of you have put your name into this collective database to find out whether you are Scandinavian? How many? How many have you? How many? Come on, be honest with me. How many of you have said, hey, I'm kind of curious and I did my thing and I sent it to 123 and me and Billy. But how many of you did this? Be honest. And there's a way for you to check whether you would allow your information to be placed in a database. There is a way for you to do that. Did you know that? Now, come on, somebody here has to have done this. You're not. We have a lot of people watching, and something tells me, come on. You want to see, look at this, not me, nope, no way. You see what's different about you? You see what's different? I have a friend of mine. She's a lovely person. She says, well, I did it. I said, why? What is it that you are providing? What is it that you are providing? You're providing you. It's your DNA, it's your genotype. It's you. Do you understand that? It's you. It's you. Am I making myself clear? You're giving your DNA, the blueprint of you, your genotype, whatever, to someone, to you. Do you have any idea of where that goes? Oh, you might be able to say whether it goes into some kind of open source for criminal investigation, but do you know what they're going to do? Is China going to get this? Could China, I'm just being wacky, take everybody's information and create in this metadatabase a collective sampling of, listen to me, the DNA components of all Americans, let's say Americans from this part of the country, all white or African Americans, 30 years old, to create one day a targeted, hear me out, I'm being crazy, a targeted biological weapon that seeks certain people of certain genotypes, phenotypes, certain DNA profiles that you have given. If they find out one day, does this ever go to insurance companies? If we find out a particular marker for a predisposition for diabetes, will you be blacklisted from that? Will you say, oh, we're not, sorry, no insurance for you, sorry. If there is a genotype or some type of marker for mental illness, for suicide, for obesity, for cardiovascular disease, for mental illness, for schizophrenia, for homosexuality, which nobody cares about anymore because nobody's even talking about gay. You notice how nobody even mentions the word, the LGB part of it. Or the H for heterosexual. It's the T part. Maybe there's a propensity for that. Do you ever think about that? No. And when I ask this very nice person that I know, do you ever think about that? They say, no, I have no idea. Because you were born into captivity where you are not able to think like we dread conspiracy theorists do. Because we are suspicious. We are skeptical. We've learned from history. And we are conspiracy theorists because we're just kind of crazy. Because we don't trust governments and corporations and media and the lies that are propagated. Where is that going? Now, one day, somebody says, now listen, Taylor or Morgan, whatever, we want you to take this baby to term. Okay, I will. Great. And we want you to put your baby up for adoption. Okay? Okay. Will they find out? Who? My baby. Can this baby, because I don't want to see this child for my own personal mental health. I don't want to abort it, but I do not want there to be any knock on the door. I said, are you my mother? And are you so-and-so? Can that happen in the old days? Absolutely not. Today, through genealogy, we find out that you have a relative, a very close relative in Black Snow County, New Hampshire. What? Wait a minute. New Hampshire? That's Uncle. Wait a minute. What could go wrong? Anybody think about this? No. Do you figure, oh, well, that's the way it goes? Is this like doxing? Is that it? What? And criminal justice, well, listen, most people say, I don't care how you find a killer. And that's the kind of thinking that I love. I don't care how you find a killer. I don't care how you solve crimes. So what? So what? Because what they do is they find out that you who have nothing to do with this, a crime, you've provided some information. And through this wonderful series of this JED match, we find out that there is a collective connection to, let's say, some part of the country, and then through these genealogists will go back and say, do you know somebody who, well, I do have a cousin, well, we'll eliminate him, he's dead, but there is this other person who happens to, who lives near that Idaho. Aha! And through this genealogical backwards sleuthing, we then match that DNA, which we already have, that's why we found these people, but then we got to get a sample from this person. And in the old days, they would say they would have a cigarette that they'd throw away or a cup that they'd throw away, and they would match them, and they say, aha, that's our killer. Now, nobody cares about that, because if you're finding out a murderer, who cares, right? I mean, who cares? If GEDmatch does that, does anybody have any consideration for this? Are there any due process considerations? Anything at all to worry about? Of course not. Because the ends justify the means, right? So what? So what? Big deal. Let's talk about that. And where does this go? One of these days, we're going to find out that on the battlefield, there's going to be a particular type of gas or poison or toxin or something that will strike and affect certain people. Certain people. Not everybody, but certain people. And these people will be targeted specifically by this form of toxin or weapon or what have you. Oh, it's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Now, the reason why you're able to understand this, the reason why you're able to grasp this, the reason why you're able to understand it is because you can see the future. And when I mean the future, you can represent and you can see things that happen. And you can see things that make sense. And that's why, as I've said to you before, and I will say it again, it is absolutely critical that you pay attention. Because right now, the real chance, the absolute chance of there being food supply shortages through the Great Reset. I just tweeted this morning on the Great Reset. People still don't understand what we're talking about. Government policies, supply chain breakdowns, the Great Reset, ESG. We have forgotten that. And do you have a 3-month supply of food? It's that simple. Look, I've told you this. You've heard me, and I'm going to say it again. Preparewithlionel.com is the link. I've got it right there for you. Ready Hour 3-month emergency food kits from My Patriot Supply provide an ideal amount of food and variety designed to give your body over 2,000 calories per day. That's what the average American needs during a food emergency. Unlike others, they don't play games or skimp on the calories. This is simply the best. So there it is right there. Look at the information. Look at what's available. And you can save $250, their best seller right now, by going to preparewithlionel.com. And there is the link. And there it is for you. And it is so, one of those things to me is so obvious. So it's like a no seller. It's like a no-brainer. That's precisely what it is. Preparewithlionel.com. Now let me go back again. During the 1920s, there was a debauched society that we can't even get near today. And you can think, well, that's a lot worse today. It is in some respects. It is. But when it comes to depravity, when it comes to these weird psychosexual predation models, we have seen this since forever, since the days of Caligula. And I was going back and just listening, doing some research at a time when, in the 20s, of Warren Harding, Woodrow Wilson, Fatty Arbuckle, the Hayes Commission. Remember that? The Hayes Commission, where Hollywood freaked out. William Randolph Hearst. Everything today, by proportion, let me say this again, was worse because of William Randolph Hearst. If you think Elon Musk, if you think social media, if you think Bezos and the Washington Post is nothing. Nobody cares about the Washington Post. Nobody cares. Most people, honestly, do not know who Elon Musk is, don't care what he said, don't know. I'm sorry to tell you this, but it's true. They don't care. They don't know. But William Randolph Hearst was everything. And then came silent movies, which, oh my God. And then the talkies, and then it was the chance to lure everybody in. But everybody, see, not everybody's on Twitter, but everybody knew who Fatty Arbuckle was. Everybody. Not everybody does not know who Zuckerberg knows about things like Barry Weiss and, come on, Substack, and no. This was a different time. And this showed a depravity you've never understand. And keep in mind a couple of things which they never talked about that, which is a little moot at this particular point, but prior to those people who wanted to stop the legalization of marijuana, one of the biggest ones ever was William Randolph Hearst because of Pancho Villa and how his forests and his timberland and all of his trees in Mexico and how they were taken captive by Pancho Villa, and they wanted to demonize marijuana. And by emphasis, not cannabis, marijuana, the Spanishization, if you will, the Mexican Pancho Villa kind of exotic, reefer madness later on, Anslinger at dangerous drugs, and then the DuPont family came in, and what was their thing at the time? Synthetics. And what was the biggest threat to synthetics? Hemp. And now it's the opposite. Now it's, no, we want drugs legalized. We want it. What are you talking about? What happened? What changed? You see, in my discussion group, we would talk about that. You're not going to see that on Fox News. What happened? What happened? Here was one the other day. I could spend hours discussing this. Remember, it's not so much the story, it's what matters to you, okay? Listen to me carefully. Where is this one story which was so interesting? Let me see. Where was this? Let me see. You're going to love this one. This was really good. Wait a minute. Oh, here we go. New York Governor Kathy Hochul on Saturday legalized natural organic reduction, popularly known as human composting or terramation after death. Human composting. Now, as usual, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does human composting mean? Now, as you think about this, as you say, wait a minute, hold it. Is that bad? Is that wrong? Is that terrible? Is that scary? Is that... Before you say that, before you go there, let's look at something very, very important, very, very critical. Because I know what you're going to say. I'm going to talk about pillows and pillowcases and my good friend Mike Lindell. Before you think that, because just put that on hold. Let that kind of ruminate. Because right now, using promo code Lionel, mypillow.com, the biggest bed sheet sale ever is going on. My Pillow percales, overstock sales, my slippers, children's Bible story pillows, Bible story throw blankets. Yes, yes. 6-piece My Pillow towel sets, My Pillows, My Pillow sandals, mattresses, blankets, you name it. And that's why it is so critical, so important, so absolutely vital. And I'm putting up the information right here for you, right here. And if you want to call 800-645-4965, you do it, by gum. By gum. Isn't that Judy Garland's name, the Gum Sisters? Remember that? The Gum, Judy Garland, that's another one. Oh, what a tragic life. There it is right now. MyPillow.com. Promo code Lionel. Promo code Lionel. Make sure you sign up. Now's the time. We are in the process of making a huge order because it's that time to do it. And that's all I'm going to say. Human composting. Got a problem with that? Right now as we speak, and I tried the other day, I always try this on people. Everybody knows that there is what I believe is the absolute right that people have to, in the case of horrific terminal illness, for you to elect euthanasia. I think inherently we all believe that. I don't know why somebody has to go through some horrible form of death. There are ways that it is happening right now to die with dignity, and that's one thing. But what we are seeing right now is something a little different. What we are seeing is a group of people who are advocating an accelerated acceptance of, death for people who are depressed. This is in other countries too. Going through financial problems, maybe who are not kind of up to speed, maybe who are going through some moments of crisis. We know somebody who went to a distant foreign country, Switzerland, I believe, to seek a medical assisted suicide, and we had no idea that there was anything even wrong. Could be. I'm not passing judgment. I'm not doing that. But what we are seeing right here, and what I am telling you, and that nobody is talking about, is there is a slow and not so subtle re-emphasis of your ability to accelerate the cessation of life cycle of your life. And that is why I am telling you that you better remain vigilant, you better pay attention, and you'd better discuss this. Because it's happening. And nobody on Fox News, you would think, because this involves time, sober, rational, intelligent leaders, not wannabe comics, to sit there and go through, to set out the issue, to go through developments, to be able to look and to compare with what's happening in the news, and ask yourself, what is happening to the sanctity of human life itself? I'm going to say this, and I hope I don't insult anybody, but it's the way it goes. America is far too stupid to understand how bad things are right now. The level of issues, the complexity, the subtlety, the gradations, the colors, the flavors, the aspects of this are so grave that I can't put it into words anymore. I can't describe it to you. This is the most serious times, and it involves a society that is smart, educated, historically sentient, who appreciate what's happened in the past, who listen, who aren't constantly playing this automatic refutation of ideas through Twitter. I mean, seriously, there are people who love to be the patellar contrarian. It's like an obeisance. They just do it. They have, nobody's listening. Nobody gets it. Nobody reads. No historical reference. Nobody has said, "Oh, I've seen this before. Oh, this is similar to such and such." No. And you can talk about it all day long. But let me tell you something. You listen to me, and you listen good. If you keep following, oh, I saw this. I have to share this with you, because I got to get the name of this correct before. If it's something about, Josh Hawley. Oh, how you love Josh Hawley. I have no idea why. Like you love Tulsi Gabbard, because she just, you like people like you do, like boyfriends or girlfriends or something. I don't know. You don't listen to what people are saying. You just like either the way they look or the way they sound, or I don't know what. But listen to this one. Where was this? Oh, it was perfect. Oh, Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA's America Fest Conference and CPAC. If you don't understand money grabs, carnival, conservatism, tourism, come out and remember Fan Fest years ago? They used to do this in Nashville. You could come out and meet all your favorite country music stars. That's what this is. Because you've put these people into, oh, Judge Janine's here, that kind of stuff. I don't get it. I'm thinking, oh my God, great money though. What a scam. Oh, you know what? CPAC, for $2,500, you've got the Ronald Reagan breakfast. What about the lunch? Ooh, that's the Ronald Reagan gold level. Oh, well, I'll take the gold. Well, do you want to have the cocktail party? Ooh, that's the Ronald Reagan platinum. What? Well, listen, I've got no problem with capitalism by any stretch of the imagination. But let me ask you, what's going on that you've heard of? Have you heard about anybody doing anything involving voter registration? Nope. Get out to vote? Nope. Going in and registration? Nope. What about hiring law firms to actually have an ad hoc, not an ad hoc, actually that's the wrong word, kind of like an emergency unit to go and to investigate allegations of voter abuse? No. But you'll send around a video. Oh, I've got this great one. Ben Shapiro slams this woke socialist at this school somewhere. Oh, you've got to see that. I got a good meme And these are good stuff. So and so goes up and interviews all these college kids, that Steve Allen started in the old days, and none of these kids know anything about whatever. Oh, I can send you another. Oh, a great. Did you get the latest Dr. Malone video on mRNA? Fauci, I've got a Fauci thing. It's like trading cards. We just exchanged this. I got a good one. Oh, you're gonna love this. Well, what's going on? What are you doing? Oh, nothing. What about? Well, we're not really sure. Mitch McConnell, so-and-so, Steny Hoyer said that he thinks that Kevin McCarthy probably is going to be the Speaker of the House, though we don't know. Because Marjorie Taylor Greene, excuse me, what are you talking about? This is nothing. What about 2024? Oh, we don't have anything in store. We just talk about this stuff because it's easy and it's fun, and that's too much. I got to read about it. I don't care. No. Really? And what about Trump? What is he doing? I don't know. I'm not really sure. Well, see, he's on Truth Social. We don't know, but he came on and then there's that guy who with Elon Musk. This group of people, not you, but they talk about the most inconsequential stuff that doesn't even matter. Well, that's it. You know what to do. That's all. Now, let me tell you something right now. Listen to me and listen carefully. You are going to sign up for Lynn's Warriors newsletter. There we go for that. Oh, I'm not done yet. And this is the Lynn's Warriors YouTube channel. This is it right here. Go right to this right now. You click this and it takes you right to the sign-up page. Just boop, subscribe. And I'm going to be leaving you now, Don Corleone. I'm going to be turning my back on you. I'm going to wish you a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your paying attention. Thank you for your edification, perusal, and review. And until tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel, I remind you, as I do all the time, the monkey's dead, the show's over, sue ya. Ta-ta.